be on this call. I'm going to share something with you over the next 30 minutes or so that will absolutely help you to explode in this economy that we're in right now. So get everybody on the call. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Put your cities in Romania. We see you. Welcome, 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 welcome to the call. This is the Chairman call. I'm excited to be here with you today. Give me 1 second. Let's just see. No, we're not going to do that. I was going to share to Facebook, but we have something else happening right now, and I need everybody to be where they need to be. So I do not want to interrupt anything. So welcome, ladies. Welcome, gentlemen. New Orleans, I see you. That's my home city right there. Welcome to the call. I'm excited. Let me know if you can hear me nice, loud, and clear. If you can hear me clearly, go ahead and drop some 7s in the chat. Drop some fire emojis in the chat. If you can hear me clearly, I recommend you go ahead and get into a space where you can really focus over the next 20, 30 minutes for the information and content that I'm gonna share with you over the next moments. You really wanna be focused. I'm a mother of 3 children. Sometimes I gotta go in the bathroom. Sometimes I gotta go in my closet. I just have to get into a space where I can focus and just kind of drown out everything else that's going on around me. So I recommend that you do that right now because you're not gonna wanna miss it. The second thing I'm gonna tell you to do is make sure that you have your pen and your notepad. You need to make sure that you're taking down copious notes. We've been on calls all day. My book is filled up with notes from the calls that we were on earlier that I'm excited about that's going on, really helping women to thrive in this male-dominated space. We are changing the game right now. Women are unifying, coming together. It's something about when women come together. So obviously this is the Chairman call. I'm excited to be in this space. My name is Dr. CHYNA BETLEY. Once again, for those of you who may be a little bit newer to this space, I've been inside of this company now for almost 4 years. I said yes to Forex almost 4 years ago when it was unpopular, uncommon, unattractive, wasn't sexy. We had to come in and make this mug sexy, okay? So we came in almost 4 years ago and really began to pave the way for professionals and influencers to really see this to be even more attractive yet. At least I didn't know anything about it, and nobody that looked like me was involved in it. And so I'm excited because we've been able to make global impact on nations and generations around the world. People are now seeing Forex in a way that they've never seen it before. People who would have never traded in the Forex market are now trading successfully. Moms and wives and dads and students, and people are in this space. Students that are just fresh out of high school are now saying that's what I want to do when I get out of high school. And so I'm excited about what we have here inside this unique space. But let's get straight into it. Once again, I've been in this space for almost 4 years. I'm a Chairman 50, aggressively working toward Chairman 100. My husband and I, we do this full time as well as invest into some other things. We operate multiple businesses. I have 3 amazing children, one that's 19, another 2 that's 5 and 6 years old. We started completely over again, and she's in this business aggressively on her Chairman run. My kids are actually trading. Especially my son that's 5 years old. He understands the dynamics of buy when the market is low, sell when the market is high, mainly because he plays video games sometimes, not a lot. But when I saw what he could do on a video game at the age of 5, then I knew that he could press some simple buttons. So he knows that when the market or when it's in blue that he's winning, and when it's red, it's not time to close out yet, okay? And so I'm excited once again about being in this space and how we've lifestyled it. My parents are now trading, okay? I'm not saying everybody in my family is doing it, but we've been able, by God's grace, to retire our parents, that they no longer work. They're at home. My mom's not getting up, early in the morning, going to nobody's job. Those things are very, very important to me. My 19-year-old daughter is able to see a point of contact of what she needs to be doing. She has her own company. She's also a hairstylist. She's also on her Chairman run. And so we've been able to lifestyle what we have going on right now. So let's talk about how you win in a down economy. Right now, you got the rest of the world. It's like we have a shelter here with what we have, right? But the rest of the world is dealing with panic. The rest of the world, a lot of them are dealing in fear. The rest of the world are losing their jobs, and some of them are not really knowing what's next for their life, and people are overwhelmed with what's happening right now. Well, I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you before I get into the training so that you can understand why I decided to come from this angle. You know, when I made my first million before I was 30 years old, it was actually in a time like we're in right now. It was a recession going on, okay? There was a recession going on when I first said yes to the industry of network marketing. Now, I'll be very honest with you. My background is in beauty. I've always been an entrepreneur. My husband and I, we had our own music production studio in New Orleans, Louisiana before Katrina hit. So we were already heavily on the entrepreneurial path. But I was like most people. I thought when you talked about MLM or network marketing, I was like, one of them things, like, you know, you got to put the quotation marks up with it and everything. One of them things, like, for whatever reason, we kind of feel like we're too good for one of those things, or we just don't have the proper information. So I wasn't knowledgeable about the network marketing industry. I didn't understand anything about what network marketing was. Had I understood that, then it would have made sense for me, because I was actually praying for an opportunity like this. However, because of the relationships that I had acquired up until that point, because of the circumference of people that I was around, because of my network, I kind of adopted some of their philosophies about money. And you want to ask yourself a question right now. Are you adopting the philosophies of the people around you about money, even though they're not successful like you would like to be, even though they're not in a position in which you would want to trade shoes with them financially? Are you adopting the beliefs and the philosophies of those around you who are not succeeding, who don't understand opportunity, who don't understand entrepreneurship? Because if that's the case, then it can be very dangerous for you. And so I remember exactly when I was exposed to somebody mentioning, I was walking up the street, or we were in a salon and we were leaving out. It was this lady, and she, you know, was trying to figure it out. You can tell she was a little bit older, much older than I was, but she was an older lady, because I was probably about 17 years old at the time, 18 years old at the time. And somebody had approached her. This is many years ago. And they said to her, do you keep your business options open? And I'll never forget this moment. It's so very important that we understand how seeds can be planted in our life. They said, do you keep your business options open? And she turned around with like an attitude and looked at the lady. And the lady, you could tell she probably was a little newer in the network marketing space, because she turned around and looked at her like, are you talking about one of them things? Like, she got all into it, a lot of attitude. And I just remember watching this. And she was like, are you talking about one of them things? And so the lady was like, really nervous, really afraid, like what things? She was like, you know, one of those things, one of those pyramid schemes, right? And so when that happened, I saw that and I watched that happen. Do you know that even though I did not know this woman personally like that, do you know even though she was no one that I would have ever wanted to trade shoes with, do you know because of that one moment in my life when I was 17 years old, anytime, as an entrepreneur, this is how crazy it is, anytime somebody asks me, do I keep my business options open? Or anytime they ask me a question that sounds like that was going to lead into this, one of them things, I did exactly what that woman did that I saw. I adopted her philosophies toward a concept that I didn't know nothing about. And so when somebody would ask me something, guess what I did? I said, you talking about one of them things, neck rolling and all, the whole body language and all that she did. I saw her do it and I did it too. I said, are you talking about one of those things? And so unfortunately, we do that in our behavior sometimes. Sometimes, depending on who we're connected to, sometimes we take on the philosophies of the people that are around us. Well, that would have been to my demise, because a few years fast forward, I was introduced to the network marketing industry. And the only reason that I was really open to it is because we were in a time like we're in right now. Now, this might be a little bit worse, but I can't say that because we were in that time longer. I don't know what the other side of this looks like. I don't know when this process is going to be over. I don't know what that looks like. But what I can tell you is that people are so much more open now to this industry than ever before. People will do this now that would have never done it. Why? Because a lot of their jobs have failed them. A lot of people, unfortunately, are in fear right now of the unknown, not knowing what's going on. Meanwhile, we're still working from home. We're still working from our computer. Not much has changed in the dynamics of most of our lifestyle as it relates to business-wise, and people now see us as an option. Now they're open to hearing more about what we have going on. Just like I was open to hearing more about this industry. Why? Because I was in the beauty industry. I was a hairstylist in Atlanta, had just come from New Orleans with Hurricane Katrina happening a few years prior. The recession hit. It was about 2010. The recession hit, and I was in a space in my life where I was really open because honestly, I really just wanted to have more clients. I really just wanted to make more money. My husband and I found ourselves where we were literally trying to figure it out. Things were happening with his job. He was working at the time and still being a music producer as well. And we were just in an ugly financial space, to be honest with you. And so because of that, one of my clients introduced me to the network marketing industry, but I still had that negative closed mind concept about this industry. I didn't know anybody that had succeeded in network marketing. I was always told that it was one of them things, that it was one of those, all of those things. And that was to my demise. If I would have just listened to the question that was being asked, do you keep your business options open? As a professional, as an entrepreneur, it was seen like the obvious thing to do and say, yes, I keep my business options open, especially being that I need some doggone money right now. But I had the audacity to feel like I was doing the woman a favor who introduced this to me. Now, here's the thing that you don't ever want to be, and I need y'all to talk to me in the chat. I need y'all to engage me in the chat. If I say something that resonates with you, I need to know it. I need to feel it. The one thing about success, it is going to require you to engage. It's going to require you to engage. So be open to engage. Open up your body language. Receive what I'm about to drop into your spirit. We're going to sow some seeds today that's going to help you to win in this economy. It's going to help you to have a paradigm shift, if that's not been the case yet, inside of this economy. And so what I can tell you, in that moment in my life, I was broke and bougie. Now, see, those things don't go together. That don't go together. I was broke and bougie. How you gonna be broke and bougie, CHYNA? I was broke. I didn't have the money coming in. My clients was connected to the real estate industry at the time. There were real estate agents. There were interior decorators. Their husbands were contractors, right? There were brokers. And guess what? My clients was dwindling away. But I had the audacity to look at somebody who was giving me an opportunity, who was opening up a door for me to kind of feel like I was above that. No, baby, let's get it all the way together for a moment. I need y'all to go ahead and get that part together real quick. Because sometimes we're praying for something specific and we assume that it's going to come packaged the way we wanted to pray. At that time, I just wanted more clients coming in the shop so I can make more money. God was ready to open up the door to give me a multi-million-dollar move, and all I could think about is more clients. What are you thinking about right now? Some of you are actually used to working a full-time job, and maybe you got that email, maybe you got that call, maybe somebody told you that we're going to cut your hours, or you're not going to be working right now, and you don't even know if you're going to have a job on the other side of this. But what's really happening is you're being positioned. You should be in a space of reinventing yourself, but a lot of times we keep the big old prayer and the vision that we have, and we want to put it in this little bitty box. And that's not the way it works. And the reality was, God was preparing me for a multi-million-dollar move in my life. And all I could see was having more clients. That's as far as my scope went. So I went to the meeting and I was exposed to this opportunity. And when you feel like you're about to get God on something, you go in ready. You like, she ain't gonna get me. And some of you have already said yes to Forex and you're in the space already. But because of the influences that you have around you, your family, your friends, your loved ones, right? Because of their philosophies toward what you do, you haven't really went full throttle yet. Because you need permission from someone else to really support you, you haven't went full throttle yet. And I want to challenge you right now to be that point of contact. I want to challenge you right now to be that person. I want to challenge you that in this season right now, for you to reinvent yourself. Decide who you're going to be on the other side. Decide who you're going to be on the other side of this. Decide the way you show up. Decide the way people are going to see you on the other side of this. Sometimes we're so consumed with the thoughts and the ideas that other people have about us that don't matter. It don't matter what they think. It don't matter how they feel towards you. Those things don't matter. What I can tell you right now is that we have a solution to a world-class problem. And some of you are not telling people right now because you feel like if you share with somebody in this time that you will be being insensitive. Y'all need to get the numbers up. It's not enough people on here. You need more of your team members to be on this call. There's something that's going to be said that you're going to carry, but it's something else when it's planted into them as well and they carry it too. And how you can have massive growth and momentum in your business. Share this with your organization. Put it in all of your chats. Get more people on this call. See, the reality of it is that you feel like if you share this with other people, some of you feel like, I don't want to be insensitive. That's not being insensitive. We have a solution to a world-class problem right now. We're making monies in our homes while the rest of the world is in their homes not knowing what they're going to do because they can't go to their job. They're sitting waiting for a stimulus check to come from a government. I know what that feels like going through Hurricane Katrina. Where we would have to be in line after line after line, walking around like nomads, being called refugees, waiting on the government who continuously disappointed us instead of getting in the driver's seat. You have the biggest opportunity of your life right now. Millionaires and billionaires are being created right now. Millionaires and billionaires are being created right now in the midst of this economy, in the midst of this season. And you, my friend, you, my sister, you, my brother, you have a solution to a world-class problem. You have a solution. You have a solution. So change your mindset. Be bold and courageous about the call that you have on your life. You're not just here for you. Listen, I think about when I joined this space, right? And I can tell you right now, I know for a fact, when Dr. Jewel and I say yes in this space, I know how networkers think. I've been doing this now for 10 years. There are certain companies that I would never align myself with because you don't just align yourself with the company. You don't just align yourself with the product. You also align yourself with the people. And what I could tell you is I know what my name says in this industry. What I could tell you is I know what my name means in this industry. And when particular people saw who was in this space, that gave them the green light to come because that meant that it was solid. That meant that they know that we wasn't hopping from one thing to the next and was going to be all over the place. But what if we would have decided? I'm telling you right now, when you say certain people, they tell me about all these little fly-by-night things that pop up. And they tell me the people that's involved, you don't have to tell me nothing about the product. I don't need to know nothing about the compensation plan. I don't need to know nothing about what it offers. Because when I see what it attracts, will tell me enough. Well, because this amazing opportunity, Christopher Terry, Isis Delatorre, they put something together that was a vision that was given by God. I love to hear Chris tell his story because it amazes me. He said something just happened. All of a sudden, this idea, all of a sudden, I smile because I know how God works. I smile because I know that he was called for a time such as this to do exactly what's being done right now. In the midst of a season where the world is collapsing and falling down, we have a solution for a world-class problem. And I know that God aligned me to this assignment. I'm clear on that. I'm very clear. God has called me right here to do what we're doing, because that's what I could have did. We could have got into this space and learned how to trade, and it could have been between me and my cell phone. Nobody has to ever know what it is that you do in this space. But guess what? That would have been selfish. God never gave the vision for just you. I know the vision that he gave me was to impact nations and generations around the world. And when he aligned me to my assignment in I Am Mastery Academy, and I remember having a conversation with Alice and say, Alice, we need a vision. We need a goal. We need a target. I had a conversation with Chris. We need something, even if it's not based on a dollar amount, even if it's not based on money. I get that we got to be compliant, but we need to know what is the goal of the company. Let's come up with something. And we decided 1 million families. And guess what that does? It aligns the company to be a $1 billion company, to be a $1 billion company. I know that God has called me in this space to open up doors for nations and generations around the world to believe that they even deserve to sit at some of the tables that we sit at, that they believe that they deserve to be a part of $1 trillion a day market, that they believe that they deserve to have this as an opportunity. We got work to do, ladies and gentlemen. We got work to do, kings and queens. This is the time and the season where millionaires and billionaires are going to be created. But let me tell you something. You got to be bold. Success requires your boldness. Success requires your consistency. Success requires your focus. Success requires you to have emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. That's what success requires. It requires that of you. Get the numbers up on a call. Get them up, get them up, get them up, get them up, get them up. I'm going to help somebody that's been stagnated in their business because I'm going to bring you a level of transparency that sometimes you won't always hear. See, I don't make apologies for what God has called me to do because I know why I'm here. I know exactly why I'm in this moment. I know exactly why and what I need to do. God has given me the clarity for that. We got work to do. Now, at one point, you know, my style of training and providing this content may have been uncommon and unpopular because it's not the corporate way to do it. Well, China, let's make sure that you are on that. See, I'm the kind of woman that's dangerous for some of you. Let me just say it like this. It could be dangerous messing around with a woman like me. It could be dangerous messing around with a woman. Well, why would you say something like that? Because you might mess around and find out exactly who you are. You might mess around and find out who you are. You might begin to rise up in your boldness. You might begin to rise up in your kingship. You might begin to rise up in your queenship. Messing around with a woman like me, some people don't really like that idea. No, oh, no, wait, not her. No, wait, no, not her, not The scales gonna start to remove from your eyes because I've never been apologetic about the assignments. But now the world, come on, man. I said I'm called for a time such as this right here. So in the midst of the last recession, God allowed me to make my first million when everything was crumbling and people was losing. Why? Because money never evaporates. Money never leaves the earth. It simply transfers. How many people have been looking for a wealth transfer? Now is the season and now is the time. But what do you got to do? You got to be present. You got to show up. You got to be visible. You got to be consistent. You got to be focused on your goals. Laser focused on your goals. Some of you need to relaunch your business. Some of you need to get unapologetic and bold. Some of you need to be extremely consistent with your list. What list? You got to have a list of 100 to 200 people at all times. If not, what you doing? All the calls that's going on back to back, you ain't got nobody to invite. You showing up. Basically, you decided to just be a part of a pep rally. You just showing up to be a cheerleader. Yeah, this is my company. Yeah. Where's your guest? Where's your team? Where's this? Where's that? Where are the people? It's okay to start over. I had to start over my whole entire business. I had to start off my whole business. I don't know a boss that ain't never take an L. Because I call it an L. Either you win or you learn. I had to learn some things about myself. I had to develop in some ways. You got to be willing to be transparent with you about where you are. Oh, but once you get it though, oh my gosh. See, that's the part that people don't want to face. I can't get up here and pretend this perfectly. No, that's not my lane. That's not my style. That's not what I do. I come for you today. I come for that woman and for that man that's really need to figure it out. Come on, talk to me. Like, don't get so high up that you can't talk to me. And every time you talk to me, you saying the same thing as if I didn't hear you. Say, talk to me in here. That provokes move and change in the way that I need it. Talk to me. You gotta face yourself in the mirror. There's some things that you are holding you back from. There's some psychologies and philosophies that you tapped into and that you believe that's holding you back from being the best you that you can be. And I need you to go into that space and understand that this time that we're living in right now, you found a way by the grace of God to be under a shelter where you could still make money from your phone when the rest of the world can't. A shelter that you could still be protected when the rest of the world is fearful and they're trying to figure it out. You're in a place of joy and love and peace in the midst of calamity going on around you. And you want me to apologize and minimize. See, that's not my lane. That's not what I'm actually called to do. I'm actually called to rise up and help kings and queens to rise up. That's what I'm called to do. God gave me a vision before he ever gave me the vehicle. The vision of Rich University was so that people knew and got comfortable with being rich. So we walk around with rich on our chest so that people who ordinarily was uncomfortable with finances and uncomfortable with abundance and uncomfortable with wealth will begin to rise up and own it because they understood that the R in rich stood for royalty. So I help kings and queens to rise to their core so that they can rise up and know who they are. We help them to be inspirational so that they can inspire nations and generations around the world. You, yes, you who don't have the big story yet. You, yes, you who haven't been on a stage yet. You, yes, you who've been through all kind of hell that the world wouldn't even understand. I'm talking to you right now. Yeah, you. That person. It's going to require you to be courageous. You're going to need courage, baby. You're going to need courage, sis. You might feel like you by yourself in some seasons, sis. You might not feel like you got a whole lot of support, sis. You got to keep going. You got to know what that goal is, and you got to keep going. Bro, you might feel like they hating on you every time they get a chance. You might feel like they're trying to tear you down every time they get a chance. You might feel like you can't get a break every time you try to move. You got to keep going, bro. You got to keep moving, bro. Success requires you to be courageous. I promise you, you're going to make it if you don't quit. I promise you, you're going to make it if you don't quit. If you're willing to put in the work ethic, the consistent work ethic, that I don't feel like it work ethic, but I'm going to get up anyway type work ethic. The discipline necessary. You're going to win. You're going to rise. You're going to elevate. You're going to grow. But I'm going to tell you right now, when it happens, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This is a season that the windows are opening up in this season. It's opening up. It depends on your perspective. It depends on how you receive it. But it's opening up in this season. It's opening up in this season. I'm telling you, the dreams that you dreamed and the visions that you had, this is the time that you walk in it. The rest of the world is in calamity, but you're in a safe space. You're covered. You're covered. You're in a safe space. This is the time. But when you acquire it, when you receive it, when you get it, when you've accomplished that goal, when you've reached that point, you gotta remain humble. You gotta remain humble. You gotta have a spirit of humility. And I know that we hear this word a lot in this industry, which is always very, very concerning to me. Because a humble man would never say he's a humble man. And a humble woman would never say she's a humble woman. The fact of me claiming my own humility itself is the perfect indication of ego. If my goal is to convince you that I'm humble by telling you I'm humble, the very sense of me saying that is not humble. Remain humble. What does humility mean? Humility is how you are with people, not just on the stage when you're performing, but it's how you are with them even off the stage. It's what your innermost intentions are. I know we have people who say that they don't have an ego. That very statement is ego within itself. Because me, I don't have an ego. Because, I don't have, that's ego within itself. You see, the reality is we all have ego. It's just a matter of keeping that ego in check. We all have ego. It's just a matter of keeping it in check. It's a matter of you being clear on who even provided the opportunity for you in the first place. It's a matter of clarity. And so I challenge you right now to understand that we're living in a time where you could win bigger than you've ever won before. But your level of focus throughout this time, consistency throughout this time, discipline throughout this time. I don't know what people are doing with all this dancing and stuff. I don't know what people celebrate right now. I have no idea why people saying they bored. Girl, we bored. Girl, your bank account can't finance you being bored. What do you mean you bored? Bored. You better get a plan of action. All of that stuff that's wasting your time and spending a bunch of time with being entertained, that's over with. Entertainment? No, that's not what we're doing. Entertainment? No, that's not what we're doing. You need to be talking about how can you, this is something that I share with my team. And we started over. You gotta be okay with starting over. Come on now, some of you, listen, some of you had to go through your trial run first. And because you acquired a certain amount of success, you thought that that level of success that you acquired was, no, that was your trial run. We had to develop some things and identify some things in that time, right? That was your trial run, right? That was your trial run. But this time, there were some things that you were able to learn about you, some things that you were able to learn about your leadership, some things that you was able to learn that allowed you now to go further. But if you quit in that process of success, because success is not a destination, it's a process. There is a process of success. If you quit, then you'll never show up. You gotta be okay with starting over sometimes. It's a part of the game, y'all. It's a part of it. What you mean starting over? People quit, people lie, people come up with stories, people change their mind, not just in business, in life, it happens. Maybe you go ahead and look in the mirror and say, well, what did you do? Maybe you got a management mode. Maybe you thought they was going to do what they told you they was going to do for real. Maybe life just happened to you that caused some things. You have a chance to hear my story one day. You got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with that. It happens. Be all right with still showing up. Sometimes you got to do it because you got a point to prove. To yourself. You got a point to prove. To your legacy. You got a point to prove. For your last name. Yeah, sometimes you got to do it because of that. So here's what you do. Not only do you create the environment that's conducive for your team to grow, you got to create the environment that's conducive for you to grow. What do you see all the time? What do you see all the time? Who are you consumed within your ears all the time? Protect your ear gates. Protect what you see. Protect what you speak outside of your mouth. There's certain words. You got to stop saying it. We don't try to do anything. If I tried to sit on this chair, I would look like a fool. Let me show you what that looks like. CHYNA, try to sit down. Hold up. Try to sit down, CHYNA. Try to sit down. Okay, this is sitting. This is standing. This is trying to sit down. What we do? There's no trying. If you're trying, you're lying. Either you're doing it or you're not. Period. So here's a word that you can use instead of trying. Every time you think to say trying, I want you to say working. I'm working to do. I'm working to do. I'm working to do. Forget trying, I'm working. When you're trying, you're lying. Either you're doing it or you're not. Remove that word from your vocabulary. Remove it from your vocabulary. Remove that word from your vocabulary. Some of you need to relaunch your business. 24 hours. Launch your business in 24 hours. In the next 24 hours, when is the next opportunity call that you can invite everybody that you know to? Where you can make a list of 100 to 200 names. Where you can make a list of 100 to 200 names. You got a 90-day goal that's not only is in your mind, but it's all around you. What's your 90-day goal? Where would you like to be in the next 90 days? What would you like to accomplish in the next 90 days? Is it a particular rank? Is it connected to some money? Is it how many people you want to impact? Is it a personal goal that you want to accomplish for your family? Is it something that you want to do for your kids? Is it something that you want to do for your parents? What's that why? What's that goal that's going to get down in here? See, my goal used to be, it really never was, but it kind of seemed like your next goal is supposed to be the next rank, right? That didn't do nothing for me. Chairman 100 is automatic if you don't stop. That's automatic. That's not a goal. That's a part of the process. That's not going to get me out of the bed. It wasn't working. I had it everywhere. I had to go back to my original goal. My original goal was never Chairman 100, even when I was Chairman 10. It was 100 chairmen. How many people that I was going to help to produce in his space? How many people I was going to help to win? How many people that I was going to help to open up the door? That did something else to me, not Chairman 100. Chairman 100 was like, I guess that automatically happens if you keep going and don't quit. But 100 chairmen? Oh, 100 chairmen? Now that hit differently. 100 chairmen, it made me thrive again. It made me work again. It made me seek again. It made me grow some more. 100 chairmen. 100 chairmen. I'm looking for 100 people that's looking for me. That's going to go out and make impact on nations and generations around the world. That's going to help us to get to this 1 million families that we're going to help to reach. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's clear. God has called me and gave me a vision to impact nations and generations around the world. And I know ultimately that goal is to reach 1 million families in my assignment that I'm aligned to. And in order to produce that, we're going to create 100 chairmen. What's your goal? What's your goal that hits you here, hits you, that did something? Because it's not just about you. What's that goal? And now, depending on how, you can say whatever you want. That sounds cute when you write it down. But now, will your work ethic align with it? Will your work ethic align with that goal? Yesterday was Saturday. I just wasn't 100%. I didn't necessarily, when I got up that morning, I worked, but I wasn't up. And normally I'm up and I'm moving. And what got me up, and this is what you want, because you got days like that. The rest, people want to pretend like we never have days like that. You will have days like that. I need you to know that. You will have days like that. And I realized, I was like, wait a minute. When I thought about my goals, it's April. What today is? April the 5th. Girl, get up. Girl, get up. Girl, what is you doing? Girl, check this stuff off the list. Girl, move. What you doing? That made me move. When I thought about my goals, we can't have no days off right now. When I thought about my goals, I had to move. I had to get up. I had to get it together. It was late in the day. I didn't get up until maybe like up and moving around. Don't assume that because we got the luxury to work from home that you can just be lazy doing it. Most days I'm up in the house, my daughter trying to figure out, mother, why are you you're fully dressed, full face of makeup on, down to the perfume. Like, what are you doing? You're at home, you're not going nowhere. When you look good, you feel good. I'm in a different state of mind. I can't be around here with a scarf on my head, just walking around. No, baby, when you look good, you feel good. You're in a different state of mind. I'm attracting all that is good to me. Everything that God says that I can have, I can have. Everything that God says that I am, I am. So I got to represent him well, even in the house, because I got a whole world that's looking for me right now. I got a whole world that's looking and waiting for me to show up on social media. It's not about what social media did for me, it's what I'm doing for social media. They are waiting for me to get on my Instagram page. Somebody needs the message that I'm going to give them today. They are looking for me today. A whole world is looking for me. How do you talk to yourself? How are you showing up? What do you believe? What are you becoming as we speak right now? God allowed us to make $1 million in a down economy. When the rest of the world was shaking up, they finally saw what we was doing is valuable. The people who walked around high as the diddy with their head up high, too good for what you do. Oh, they listening now. They listening now. Now they listening. Now they listening. Now they listening. So what I want you to do is I want you to be available for them to see you. I want you to be a point of contact. I want you to know that, let them know you the plug. It don't matter what, I don't have a success yet. How I'm gonna launch my business. They don't want to know how much money I made. No, they're not. You ain't about to pay their bills. They just want to know if it's real and if it works. Well, when I learned it first, then I could teach other people. They don't need you to teach them. How dare you, the audacity of you to assume that the rest of the world is just waiting on you to teach them everything that they need to know? To teach them everything that they need to know, to how much money you made, like you gonna pay their bills? No, that's not what they want. They're waiting on you to show up to say it's good, y'all. It really works. Come see. We got enough educators. They're waiting on you to show up, to say, come see, come see. It really works. Come meet this person, edify. Come see this event. Come see what they did. I'm on my way because in the next 90 days. Oh, well, how much money you made, girl? If I told you, you wouldn't believe me, but in the next 90 days. Girl, well, how well you do? If I told you, you wouldn't believe me, but in the next 90 days. 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 Girl, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me, but in the next 90 days. But in the next 90 days. But in the next 90 days. They're not expecting you to teach them. Teach you? No, baby. Listen, I didn't want to leave you behind. I just said yes to Forex and I didn't want to leave you out. I just said yes to Forex and I thought about you. I just got off a call today with this lady. I thought about you, girl. She had me on fire and I thought about you. Man, I saw this guy and I thought about you. You got to come see this. I thought about you. You the plug, baby. If you ain't got no results at all and you still in your demo account, you the plug. You the plug. Now is the time. Now is the season. Now is your moment. Grab that moment. You got to focus. Focus, focus, focus. You ain't got time for TikTok. I'm being honest. I know my family probably think I'm a straight workaholic. We going for a Billy, 1,000 milli type conversation. A Billy. This is what billionaires are going to be made. Millionaires was made last time. This billionaire season right here. I'm going for a Billy, 1,000 milli. Stop comparing yourself. I've been through a season of that where I got out of my lane that was just for me. And I felt like I wasn't moving at the pace that I needed to move at. And I got in the lane that wasn't for me. And I got into traffic jams. A Billy, 1,000 milli. Stay in your lane. Know your pace. Focus. Focus. Put your goals all around you. All around you. Speak them out of your mouth. Get you an accountability partner that you got to get you an accountability partner who you give permission to hold you accountable. Get you an accountability partner who you give permission to hold you accountable. Otherwise, you're going to feel like they're just trying to tell, no. Listen, what your goals are in the next 90 days? What's your goal in the next 90 days? Know what your goals are and give somebody permission to hold you accountable. Give somebody permission to hold you accountable. How do you win in a down season? You come up. You come up. You come up. You rise. You become greater in your thinking. You become greater in your speaking. You become greater in your sharing. You become greater in your spirit. You become greater. If it don't align with who God says I am, I disregard that. It don't even mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me at all. You are who God says you are. And you can have everything he said you can have. And if anything that contradicts that, disregard it. Don't let people speak negativity in your life. Don't let people speak negativity in your life. It's something that I'm really uncomfortable with. And I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. And when people do it, I know that they're doing it out of a space of endearment. They don't mean no harm by it. It's not intentional. But we were taught to speak death. This is what we're taught. So that means that you got to reteach yourself. The world is being turned upside down. That's good for you. So things need to go back into its proper perspective. We lived in a time for the past couple of decades where we've taken the lowest of the low and we've glorified it by putting glitter and sparkly stuff on it. As long as you require some stuff, you good. And the whole world has focused their attention to that. The lowest of the low. And we've glorified it and put some dazzle on it. And our young girls and boys, that's their goals now. So the world needed to be turned upside down. But things that matter, matter. And that's the time that we're in right now. But when somebody says something to me that I don't agree with, it don't have to be a debate all the time. You know that most people were taught to speak death, but that don't mean I got to receive that talk. That don't mean I got to receive that. That don't mean that seed is going to take root here. So if somebody says something like, when I grew up in New Orleans, they'll say, "Po little baby." How many people heard that term? Po little baby. Oh, po baby, bump their head. Po baby. Po little baby. What baby? My babies? Poor? Poor little babies? Mine? We don't walk around with rich on our chest for nothing? Poor little babies? Girl, you know what I mean? No, I don't. Because these babies are not poor. So something as simple as that. Guess what you could just say? Crop failure. Crop failure. I say it right now. My daughter just look at me. She know it every time because it's not worth the debate all the time. You won't be able to immediately change everybody's perspective. Crop failure, 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 crop failure. That means that seed will never take root in my life. That seed will never take root in my children's life. What have we created with our words? It's not just in time of affirmations and declarations. It's in life. What are you speaking out of your mouth? Oh, girl, it ain't that serious. No, it's that serious. Oh, it's that serious. It's that serious. People say my head is killing them. My back is killing. Crop failure. Your head not killing you, baby. It's just hurt a little bit. Come on. Help people to, you ain't got no choice but to rise up around me. It's what makes people uncomfortable. You might mess around and find out who you are messing around with me. You might mess around and realize that you're a queen messing around with me. You might mess around and realize that you're a king messing around with me. There's two things that might happen messing around with me. I might have you fall into your knees, seeking the King of all kings, messing around with me. You might start talking a little biblical messing around with me. Ask Mr. CT. That's what might happen messing around with me. And you're going to rise up in your kingship and queenship messing around with me, because I'm here on assignment, unapologetic, bold about it. Don't need no permission, applause, audience, or paparazzi. It just is what it is. Rise into your calling and watch everything that you desire be added unto you. Rise up. Rise up. This is the season for you to be a point of contact. My first million I made in a down economy. It required boldness, consistency, focus. I ran past every goal I would have ever created because I didn't even know anything about setting goals like that yet. I didn't even know what was available. Didn't even know what was available. I was coachable. I was coachable. I was so coachable. Watch this. I didn't get to create or decide who my coaches were. I happened to fall in an organization where my coaches happened to be who they were. I didn't get to decide that, but God aligned it. So guess what I did? I learned what to do and what not to do in my level of being coachable. I learned what to do and what not to do in being coachable. This is your season. This is your time. It's time to rise up. Your social media should be flooded with you showing that you're a solution, not fear. This ain't a time to fear. I don't even talk about no corona. I think I had a conversation yesterday and I still ain't mentioned that name. I don't get into that kind of conversation. I don't want to give that no life, right? I don't get into the conspiracy of it. All I want to know is, when is this going to be over? So I had a jokingly conversation yesterday because I never talk about it. I'm always just lifting people up, helping them to see a solution, making them feel empowered because they had enough doom and gloom around them. So my first time ever really saying something was yesterday when I was saying, okay, y'all, when is it over? When is it over? When we getting out? When we getting out? Let your social media reflect joy and love and excitement and happiness. Not that you won't be empathetic, but let it be loving. Let them want to come. Let them look for you. Where's she at? She not on yet. Where he at? He not on yet. Rise up and make them feel a person should come around you and feel greater about themselves, not smaller. Greater. People in your presence should become greater from being around you. Spend some time identifying what your goals are. Make sure you make that list and you start picking up that phone and calling. Pick up the phone and call and invite people to what we have. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, this is Dr. CHYNA Bethlehem here in Atlanta, Chairman 50, aggressively running toward Chairman 100, helping to impact nations and generations around the world to believe greater, because I'm on an assignment and I'm in alignment with my assignment to help to impact 1 million families inside of I Am Mastery Academy, aligned with the amazing visionary Christopher Terry and Isis Delatorre, and excited about my lineage of support that I had with Mr. Gary Roberts, his beautiful, beautiful spouse, Meg, as well as the leaders who paved the way for me to be here. I'm so grateful for the phone call of Dr. Jewel, who picked up the phone and called me and started to talk some Japanese geometry to me. I thank God for telling me and unctioning me to move into it. My husband, who's my greatest support, who understands how to support a strong woman without being intimidated or fearful or uncomfortable. He understands that when you have a true Proverbs 31 woman, what that means for you. To my kids who are part of this thing because we lifestyle it. So they are part of it. So my son will come down and say, Mama, great job, Mama. Great job, Mama, because he understands what it means for him. To my Rich University family, I love you so much. I see so much growth and rising in you, development. And to my amazing IM family, I salute you for saying yes to Forex. Now is the time and now is the season. We are one and it's time for us to rise. I love you guys. God bless you all. Let's close out with some music.